We just came back from an epic men's trip to Israel, bonding with each other, bonding with Israel, with our land, and our souls were on fire. And then we come back to Dallas, and it's the regular daily grind. And what could we do or think in order to help us propel our own spiritual growth, even in the regular mundane life? And I saw something this week's Torah portion that was pretty fascinating, where after Abraham's wife Sarah dies, he has to go find a burial plot for her. So he goes to this man named Ephron Achiti, and he purchases it for a large 400 shekel kesef, currency of money, and it was expensive. And the Mishnah in Ethics of the Fathers explains that this is actually one of the 10 tests of Abraham, that he had to purchase the land, even though God had promised him that all the land looked all around was going to be inheritance to you. Nevertheless, he had to go search and purchase a plot of land. The question's asked. Look at the grand scheme of the 10 tests of Abraham. One of the most famous ones we just talked about last week's Torah portion was Akedat Yitzchak, the binding of Isaac. Go sacrifice your only son. Can you imagine what he had to go through to think about sacrificing his only son? But nevertheless, he overcame it out of true devotion and faith in God, that this is what God wants, this is what I have to do, and he overcame it. So all of a sudden now he's going to be challenged afterwards with this big test of having to purchase land that he thought was promised to him by God. How do we understand that? So it's explained that sometimes when we have to give up our lives or do something dramatic in the service of God, we have within us the internal strength in order to muster up that courage and do it for that momentary time. But what happens when it's something that contradicts our understanding and it's part of our everyday life? You have to bury someone, you have to do something. It's in those moments where we have the ability to uplift ourselves when it's not easy. And if we could do that, that's even beloved, and we could sanctify God's name in those moments. That could be potentially even greater than giving up one's life in the service of God. So I think this was very powerful coming back to Dallas, is that, you have your children, sometimes it gets a little rowdy, and how do you deal with that, with those emotions, or work, or a boss, or whatever it may be. I think when we realize that if we can sanctify God's name in the mundane and the regular, that has so much power and strength, and how God views that is that I know it's hard, it's in the regular daily grind, but you can nevertheless uplift my name. That can go very, very far. So even though we're not in the serenity of the land of Israel and the camaraderie that's built there, and going to the wall and praying, which seems like, wow, that's the highest of spiritual heights, and that's good, and we should go back there. But to realize that we could uplift God's name and uplift ourselves and our own spiritual growth within our regular daily lives, that gives each and every aspect of our lives meaning, and we should all strive to find that in every moment. I would like to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and a wonderful week.